All right, let's get right into it. If you're in a regulated industry, like banking or telecom, AI has probably been, well, a bit of a headache. You see these amazing pilots, but getting them into real live operations is a whole other story. So today, we're going to talk about a fundamental shift in thinking, looking at AI not as some disposable chatbot, but as core controllable infrastructure. Here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll tackle the AI adoption problem, why so many of these projects just don't make it in high-stakes environments. Then we'll introduce what we're calling the infrastructure mindset. From there, we'll dive into an architecture that's actually built on trust, see what it looks like in the real world, and finally, we'll tie it all together and talk about why this matters so much. This quote right here, it just nails the entire issue. It's not that the AI technology is bad. The problem is the way we're trying to bolt it onto businesses that simply can't afford to run experiments with their core operations. It's a tool versus infrastructure problem. Okay, so let's dig into that problem a little deeper. Why do so many of these promising AI initiatives just fizzle out, especially when you're in a sector where security and compliance are everything? And here's the fascinating part. The failures are almost never technical. The AI models work, the code is fine. The problem is structural. It's literally baked into the approach that most organizations are taking right from the get-go. Does any of this sound familiar? You've got different teams using different fragmented AI tools. You've got chatbots that can hold a decent conversation but can't actually do anything in your core systems. Compliance is kind of an afterthought, right? And of course, the whole pilot project hinges on one or two key engineers. And if they leave, it all falls apart. So naturally, the risk team takes one look and says, absolutely not. And this slide just lays out the gap perfectly. On one side, you have the typical pilot graveyard. It's stuck forever in proof of concept, you're just racking up more SaaS bills, and your teams are still doing everything manually. But what you need is what's on the right, a system you own and control that's completely auditable and is actually embedded in how you work every single day. So, the big question is, how do you get from the left side to the right side? Well, it takes a complete paradigm shift. It means we have to stop treating AI like a fun new tool and start treating it with the seriousness of our other core infrastructure. And this is that new mindset. I mean, think about how you treat your core banking system or your ERP. It's a mission-critical, owned asset. It's auditable down to the last transaction. It's controllable. That is exactly how we have to start thinking about AI. It's not some widget you just stick on your website. It's a foundational part of your operational stack. So it really comes down to a fundamental choice. You can go down the AI as a tool path, which leads to being dependent on vendors, using opaque systems, and basically just running endless experiments. Or you can choose the AI as infrastructure path, which leads to an owned asset, true operational reliance, and building a permanent sovereign capability that you actually control. Okay, so that's the big idea. But how do you actually build something like this? Let's get into the architecture, because this is where the theory becomes reality. This is where the rubber really meets the road. It all begins with one single, non-negotiable principle: single tenancy. Now, in simple terms, that just means every single customer gets their own private, isolated house to live in. We're talking dedicated servers, dedicated databases, and even dedicated AI memory. There is absolutely no sharing of resources between different companies, period. I mean, just look at this table. The difference is night and day. With your typical shared SaaS AI, everyone's sharing the same servers, the same databases, and that creates a huge risk of data leakage. But with a single tenant approach, like the one used by a platform like the Eagle AI, that risk is just gone. It's eliminated by design because nothing is shared. And that's the real punchline right here. Trust isn't based on a privacy policy someone wrote or some clause in a service agreement. It's literally built into the architecture. The system is secure because of how it's built, not just because of a promise someone made. So, now that we've established this foundation of trust, what can you actually do with it? Let's pivot and look at some of the real-world use cases that this architecture unlocks for banks and telcos. This is the fun part. All right, first up, and this is a big one: transforming customer interaction. And I don't mean just a simple chatbot. We're talking about a platform where every single conversation becomes a trackable, auditable transaction within your systems. Just look at what this kind of AI can do. It's not just talking, it's taking action. It can check an account status, create a service ticket right inside your ERP, escalate to a human agent with the full context of the conversation, and, this is huge, log every single step for a perfect audit trail. Now for the second major use case. Let's turn that same intelligence inward and use it to automate core business processes. This is all about bringing some serious efficiency and control to those complex internal operations. Imagine just describing a process in plain English, and the AI turns it into a governed, auditable workflow. This lets you standardize really critical tasks, like how loan applications get routed, or how you do your Know Your Customer checks. You can do it the same way across every branch, which slashes errors and gives regulators that clear trail they're always looking for. And it doesn't even stop there. You can run AI-powered surveys, monitor for compliance issues, even deliver staff training through channels like WhatsApp and Voice. But here's the key. All of it, every single bit, happens securely inside your own control boundaries. Okay, let's pull this all together. At the end of the day, why does this matter? What is the real, tangible business outcome of taking this infrastructure-first approach to AI? Well, for telcos and financial institutions, the bottom line isn't just about being innovative or chasing the next shiny object. It's about operational resilience. It's about regulatory safety. And it's about being able to scale great service without scaling your risk. When you boil it all down, this approach gives you a huge strategic advantage. You get to improve your service delivery without ever giving up control. You can automate deep into your operations without exposing your core systems. You actually own your AI stack, which gets you out of vendor lock-in. What you're doing is building a permanent, sovereign AI capability, a true strategic asset for your organization. And that really just leaves us with one final, crucial question to think about for your own strategy. Is the AI you're investing in today just a temporary tool that you're renting? Or is it a permanent asset that you will truly own and control for years to come?